Hi, this is Stephanie Earp, and this is a little tutorial video on how to seam up the Flying Vee t-shirt. I mentioned in the pattern that if you seam this really carefully, you can actually wear this reversibly. On my other sample in the Asylum Fibers, I seamed it with the wrong sides facing because I think that's how I would prefer to wear it. But on this one, which is knit in Knitting It Up, her merino single, I'm knitting it with, or I'm seaming it with the right sides together. So in the pattern, it tells you that you're going to knit a 3-stitch garter edge along anything that's getting sewn up. So in order to do this careful seaming, what I'm doing is I'm looking for the edge purl bumps, and I'm seaming those together. So to give you an example, I'm ready here to pick up this seam, this little purl bump right here on this side. I just put my darning needle in from the bottom, and then I go and find the equivalent purl bump on the other side here. And it's really that simple. By just making sure I'm only using those edges, I don't pull too tight. I get a nice seam here on this side. And on this side, it's a little bit bumpier, but it's still really visually pleasing, and especially once I steam it, it's going to sit very nicely. So the reason I've chosen to show you this section is this is where I'm doing the under the arm, where I'm going to switch from seaming the garter ridge to seaming my cast off and cast on edges here. So this can also look really nice. It doesn't have to be a huge switch. What I'm going to do is take these sort of vertical purl bumps, which are also matched. I took care to really make this entirely symmetrical by counting exactly how many rows I'd done. And a little tip for doing that is to count your garter ridges instead of having to count every row. And I really find the key thing with any seaming like this is no matter which stitch you choose to put your needle through, as long as you do the same thing everywhere, it's going to look pretty good. It's going to look pretty neat. So if you decide to go in one stitch, that's fine, but then just make sure you do that every time. So you see I've got a little bit of a gap here. I'm going to fix that up with one of my ends that's sitting there later. So I just continue to go through my vertical garter edge here, making sure that I'm always choosing the same stitch I did the time before. And you can see that this looks very neat on this side. In fact, it's almost looking like a row of knit stitches. And then on this side, it's going to look very tidy as well. I'll show you my finished one. It's a little harder to see because it's on black. But here is the wrong side seamed. So this is actually the right side of the fabric, but it's a seam on the wrong, a little dog hair. This is the side that was not facing me when I seamed it. And this is the side that was facing me when I was seaming it. And it looks great. Thanks so much.